Shalom, WJC family. It's time for our weekly Torah Talk. I hope everyone was able to enjoy the holiday of Passover, to have it be the Chag Sameach, the joyous festival that it's supposed to be. I know many of us went into the holiday feeling pessimistic about how much we were going to be able to really do Passover. I know I found the rituals of the Seder and being together in synagogue to be healing and helpful, even as I think about the hostages who are still the 133 people who are still being held in Gaza, even as I think about the awful situation for Israel and Gaza and people the world over, as I think about the situation here in America with anti-Semitism on campuses and beyond. I know we all went in kind of pessimistic, and I don't know how people's experiences were, but, you know, one of the things we did was we let Seder be Seder, and this ritual that was made by Jews in exile to express their connection to God and the story of freedom from oppression and all of that was helpful for us in this time when we feel maybe God's distance and feel very pessimistic about the future. Along those lines, although in synagogue this week we'll read Parshat Acharei, I wanted to talk about what happened after the Seders, which on the second night of the Seder, we started the ritual of counting the Omer. And we count from the second night of Passover, 49 days, until we get to the 50th day is Shavuot, the holiday of Shavuot, the next festival in our calendar cycle. And we count every day ritually. We have to count the day. We don't get to declare a day. So for example, today is the 5th day that I'm recording this of the counting of the Omer. I had to count 4 before I can count 5, and I'm not allowed to count tomorrow's date until it comes. That way, every day, linking the historical event of the Exodus from Egypt with the historical event of the revelation at Sinai. I want to talk about what is this ritual of counting, because I think there may also be some comfort in the counting for us. And I want to look to Rav Soloveitchik's, Joseph Soloveitchik's commentary on the Omer counting for some inspiration. What he says is that, you know, we know what the present is, but we never really get to experience the present, or at least reflect on it, right? By the time we think about the present, it's already the past. And by the time, and the future is only something we can anticipate, right? So we have two ways of experiencing the world. We have what is past, and we have what we anticipate to be in the future. The present we very rarely, if ever, get to experience. So Rav Soloveitchik talks about this, and he says the way to sort of recognize that we live in a no longer true reality. When we think about the past, that's what the past is. It was what once was. And we live in anticipation of a future that we hope is better. We spend a lot of time in Judaism thinking about that future and focusing and trying to live as much as we can in that not yet achieved future, right? So on the one hand, Rav Soloveitchik says, Judaism requires us to re-experience the past. Think of the Seder ritual. Every one of us is obligated to feel like we were a slave who went out from Egypt. And Judaism requires us to pre-experience the future, right? Think of Shabbat, when we live in sort of a messianic dream where we don't do business and we don't cook food because it's all there for us. The as yet non-real that will become real at some point in time. To exist as a Jew means to be at the juncture of past and future, at the non-real any longer and the non-real as yet. This is how Rav Soloveitchik puts it. And I think there's something to be said for this. We live in a time that is very focused on the now. It seems like everyone thinks that they are the most important person who ever lived, that this is the most important moment that ever lived. We see it in rhetoric around all kinds of things, right? This recency bias. You know, this is the hottest day we've ever had on record. This is the most important election that's ever been had in this country. Everything is like right now, this is the moment. Or there's this sense of disaffection and disillusionment. It was supposed to be better for me, and it's not as good as I want it to be. Even if it's better than it was in the past, even if we're moving towards some better future, I don't care because I don't have perfection now. And so there's all this angst and anger out there. Judaism is countercultural. Judaism doesn't believe in those things, right? We are a link in a chain from past to future, whether that's our ancient past or whether that's the recent past, the past in our own lives, and to a future, whether that's the ultimate messianic redemption or just a better tomorrow that we're supposed to try and help bring about ourselves. The present matters very little. It's de-emphasized in Judaism, except as a way to reflect on the past and create a better future. That's what Judaism is all about. And that's what the counting of the Omer is all about, says Rav Soloveitchik. When one counts, one ushers in a continuum. At any position in which you find yourself counting, you have to be aware of two things, of the preceding position and of the following position. And that's what the Omer is all about, right? Last night, I counted 5. I had to be aware that 4 was behind it and in anticipation of the next, all the days coming until we get to 49, right? So we believe in a better future by counting. I wanted to bring this up because obviously we've all been counting a lot. As I'm recording this, the number is 204. 204 days since October 7th, 204 days that the hostages have been being held in Gaza. And now we've seen signs of life of several of them, and there's new hope that they will be redeemed. And we pray for that. And, the counting, some people ask, why are you counting? It's just a way of, it's for publicity, or it's a way of, it's like a PR stunt. I guess that's like the same as publicity. Or a way of self-torture, like, it's another day. It's another, all these things, as if a little self-torture for us is going to be bad when we're thinking about our poor brethren being held hostage. But the counting of the Omer, at least the way Rav Soloveitchik describes it, I think gives us some hope. It reminds us that the counting is in itself a redemptive process. It means we're one day further away from the capture and one day closer to the redemption. And we pray each and every day, as we count each and every day of the Omer, as we count each and every day of the hostage crisis of these of our beloved sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers being held in Gaza, that we hope that we are counting up towards that magic number, which is the day that they are released, the day when we feel God's closeness, the day of the revelation at Sianai, the day of the revelation of their presence here with us. May it come speedily in our days, bimhera biyamenu. I hope that we can all embrace the counting, which is so important in Judaism, that we count 1/7 of every year from day 1 to day 49 to celebrate God's closeness. May we count towards redemption, and may that redemption come for those being held speedily in our days, and for all of us, that we're finally living in a world governed by the goodness and the holiness that we try and bring into it, and not by the pain and the suffering and the evil that is rearing its head in so many places right now. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom. May it be a Shabbat of peace, and may we count our way to redemption. Bimhera biyamenu. May it come speedily in our days.